Well, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. Let's bring it all into the sanctuary here. Good morning. Good morning. Congratulations on making it here. I know many of us have no power this morning, so grateful to see everyone here in the sanctuary as well as online. Let's go ahead and stand, and we will sing our first community song together.
Home, I am home, found a place to heal my soul. It is right here, we're all right here, between the hills, the star, the sun, and the river so clear, river so clear. Home, I am home, I found a place to heal my soul. It is right here, we're all right here, between the hills, the stars, the sun, and the river so clear, river so clear. Home, I am home, I found a place to heal my soul. It is right here, we're all right here, between the hills, the stars, the sun, and the river so clear, river so clear. Home, I am home, I found a place to heal my soul. It is right here, we're all right here, between the hills, the stars, the sun, and the river so clear, river so clear, river so clear.
Oh, thank you, Talía. And good morning again, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, we want you to know that you are welcome here. My name is Karen Blakely. I go by Rev K, and it is my honor to be your host today. All right, so at this time, we usually release the kids to go back. I don't know that we have any kids this morning. They're all jumping in puddles and playing in the rain. But let's just rub our hands together and send that light and love and envision that abundant, beautiful, thriving children's church that we are growing here together. Yes. Mm-hmm. And then every Sunday, we like to start off by reminding us of who we are and what we believe. We are a supportive, inclusive, spiritual community that celebrates all of life. And we do this by aspiring to live authentic spiritual lives through the practical applications of the science of mind. And there are a lot of things that we teach here through the practical applications of science of mind. And so we have boiled that down to 4 kind of high-level summary of science of mind beliefs. The first one is that all thought is creative and influential. That's the good news and the bad news, because it means if we're thinking it, that we're already a part of outpicturing that happening in our world. Number 2 is that there is only God. That everything we see, hear, feel, touch, taste, even the unseen, it is all God, to the degree that we are willing to open up to receive that in our lives. And that means that devilishness and evil stops and starts in our mind. That just like as we walk into a dark room, we can flip on the light so that light within us can overcome anything that feels like darkness. Number 3 is that everything in our experience is either a call for love or an expression of love. And I feel like the expression of love is really easy to get. Those are all of the things that make me feel warm and my heart just opens up and I want to wrap my arms around. And those things that are a call for love are the opposite. They're when things feel frustrating or when we rub up against someone or something or some situation that feels tough. That in those places that too can be this experience of love, in that it is a call for us to be the love that is seeking to be expressed in that moment. And number 4, one of my personal favorites, y'all hear me say that probably every Sunday, is that no matter what happened when you were little, no matter what that little voice in your head keeps saying, no matter what happened yesterday, no matter what, we know in this moment that if you are in the sound of my voice right now, we together are all whole, perfect, and complete. Let's just breathe that in. Yes. Beautiful. We also really love to celebrate here at the Sierra Center. And so if you are here for the first or even second time and you feel comfortable, would you just raise your hand so that we can welcome you in and celebrate you? Yay, we've got a couple. 2, 3, 4. I see 4 or 5 new people. That's wonderful. Welcome, welcome to the Sierra Center. There is a sign-up sheet on that tall table there that you can sign up to be on our newsletter to learn about all of the amazing things that are going on. And for those of you in our online community, I will give you the website here in just a moment, and you can sign up there as well. All right, at this time, we'd like to light our inclusion candle, and so I'll invite Bonnie up for the lighting of that. We light this candle to celebrate the unity of all peoples, all faiths, and all beings, and all life, honoring the infinity of oneness as all creation seen and unseen. This candle reminds us of the light of spirit within each one of us. Yes, thank you, Bonnie. I also want to remind you that we are a praying community here at the Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. And so in the back pockets of the chairs in front of you, you will find lavender prayer request forms. And you can fill those sheets out and put them in the box that's just to the left of the door. And practitioners will pray over those all week. Prayer is also available after service with Rev Lanny. And for those of you in our virtual community, you can visit our website, that's sierracenter.org, and then click on spiritual support and prayer, and one of our practitioners will reach out to you. All right, perfect. And now I would like to invite Diane up to the podium to read our community announcements.
Good morning, all y'all. I'll be reading your announcements. Stick around after the service for a free and informative Narcan training. I don't know if there's Narcan to give out today or not, but great. We're taking teens to camp. Sierra Center for Spiritual Living received grant monies to help send teens aged 13 to 18 to CSL camp in Oregon, July 11th to 17th. Registration began on March 18th and is still on. See Rev Mitch for details. Tomorrow, April 13th, begins the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership series. Mondays from 5 to 7 through May 11th. Join us for a love offering as Rev K leads 4 weekly sessions exploring practical commitments that shift you from reactive to creative leadership. Sounds good. Pick up a flyer for class instructions. The North of 70 Circle will meet this Tuesday, April 14th at I don't get to see that. Windsurfing is not required. This is a support and networking group for those 70 years and older. Are you ready to change your thinking and change your life? Taught by Rev Mitch and Rev Lanny. This class starts Tuesday, April 14th from 6:30 to 9 p.m. and runs through May 19th. This 6-week CSL accredited course will help you apply science of mind principles to transform your relationships, health, wealth, and personal well-being. Cost is $190 and payment plans are available. Add your name to the sign-in sheet in the foyer. Darshan will be offering another breathwork workshop on Friday, April 17th and Saturday, April 18th. See flyer for details. We're looking for volunteers to help staff our booth at the Recreation Fair on April 24th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. This year's event will be held at the fairgrounds. Volunteers will be assisting with temporary tattoos for kids. Will be popular. Sign up in the foyer. Dr. Hazel Grace Yates returns on April 25th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for a deeper dive into their very popular Art of Repair workshop. This one titled The First Steps to Repair. In this 4-hour workshop, you'll practice the first 3 steps of the 6-step repair process. Oh, it's an acronym: resourcing, empathy, and permission. Building a grounded foundation for approaching repair conversations with greater clarity and care. $30 to $60 love offering. No one turned away for lack of funds. Scan the QR code on the flyer to register. Join us for a sacred healing circle, a time of prayer, intention, and collective support, facilitated by Rev Mitch, immediately following the service on Sunday, April 27th. Open to all seeking comfort, renewal, or peace during life's journey. We're planning a rummage sale this June, and Virginia and I are overseeing that to support our Center for Spiritual Living. Date coming soon. You can help by setting aside gently used clothing, toys, small furniture, and even, especially houseplants and garden starts. Plants are a good seller. And if you have beautiful flower pots, bring them to me and I'll put something in them. Just leave them on the porch. It's a great way to declutter and give back. Thank you for your support. See me or Virginia for more information. Info flyers and sign-up sheets for all classes and events are located in the foyer. You can find Zoom links and details about all our announcements in our weekly e-newsletter and on our website, sierracenter.org. Friendly reminder to please silence your phones. Invite, I don't know what that means. Invite RHI? Invite Rewinders, Nevada County Public Health. Oh, they're going to come up? Please come up. I'm winging it here. Welcome. Good to see you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me today. I will be facilitating the naloxone opioid overdose response training, which we will be having right after, or maybe there'll be a little break, right, after today. I've got on my little keychain naloxone, and we'll have some to give away at the training. If anyone can't make the training, please let me know, and I can give you some to take with you. So just briefly, I'll share that I think I like the call for love because I feel like we had a call for love in Nevada County in 2020 when we actually had the second highest overdose rate in the state. So, yeah, and I say that not for shock value, even though we can feel that in our hearts, but because, we had to take action. We knew we had to take action. A friend of mine came to me in the beginning of 2020 and said her boyfriend, who, and this is public, just to name that, had passed from an overdose from a counterfeit pain pill that had fentanyl cut into it. Local skateboarder, really known in the community. And I was like, oh my God, okay, we need to do something about this. So I came to the public health people, and it was March of 2020. So some of you may recall there was other things happening. So they kind of looked at me like, oh no. And not from not having care, right, but because they were overwhelmed. So I just said, okay, we're doing this, and we began our campaign, our educational campaign to get the word out about fentanyl and what was happening in our community and beyond. It's called No Overdose, KNOW, and there's lots of info there at the table about it that you can grab on your way out. And I think Recovery Sunday, I was just gonna kind of musing when we were talking here at the beginning and with the song, I was thinking to myself, recovery is for me about individuals, but it's also about systems and community. And that's what I do. I do the prevention side of things, right? So that's for me, my driving force, is how do we kind of bring compassion and care into our communities. So thanks for coming, if you can make it today. I appreciate you having me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And now we have some more music from Talía. Love is a Wave.
This is a poem given to me in Mallorca by Martin Talents, and he felt like when people write poetry, it just ends up dusted on some shelf. But if somebody writes a song, then you live forever, and every time they play the song, you come back and visit. So he was probably in his 80s when he gave me this poem, and he was taking care of Robert Graves, which is a great English writer, and when we went to the cemetery, which was he said the cemeteries always have the best view. And when I looked at the tombstone, me and Robert Graves have the same exact birthday, and it was really weird. It was like, oh my God, you sometimes fall in love with people, and you can have it's just a person, it's hard to explain, but some people change your life. And gave me the song, and that was one of the first songs I ever written, maybe the number 2, but. Yeah, it just kind of wrote itself, but he rhymed it, and that was his life work, doing his poetry. So, and he's an Aries, and this is Aries time, so I love the Aries people. They're so passionate, and this is Love is a Wave. Well, I have found that I put my heart into a dream to make believe things as they seem to seem, to somehow write a record of love which is of this world and somewhere above. For I have the sun, I have the moon, and am torn between the two extremes. So I change morbidity into song and express my love in real life dreams. Love is a story that touches us all. Love is a story that touches us the shore, and are forced to retreat in a shower of spray. Love is a story of life renewed in a wonderful world. When you pass this way, I know, for I always suffered from the shock. Love is a stone to crash upon the rocks, but never defeat, like a song in a show. It makes people cry when there's nowhere to go, nowhere to go, nowhere to go, nowhere to go. Ooh, nowhere to go. Oh, oh, oh. Love is a story that touches us all. You can sing along with me if you like. Love is a story that touches us all. Love is a story that touches us all. This is the story of my carousel. There's love affairs that are come and gone. One thing to remember is if you love true, your love will simply go on and on and on and on and on and on. And love is a story that life will send, a song that goes on without any end, like this one. If you like this song, you are walking tall. For love is a story that touches our soul. Love.
Good morning, good morning. I'm Reverend Lanny Howard, the Minister Emeritus here at the Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. And I'm going to start off with a sacred reading, and then we are going to ring the bell and do an Om. We will do that 3 times. And then I will lead us, we will drift into prayer, and then we will be brought out of meditation by a prayer. Let's see. I guess the power outage is in my brain. Yes, so just you'll figure it out. All right, this is from the Science of Mind magazine, from an article by Joseph and Sonia Nelson. If God is in all, through all, and is all, as Scripture, Holmes, and other metaphysical leaders affirm, then every sincere desire has its origin in the infinite. We are not left alone to toil, strain, or beg for our good. Instead, desire itself becomes a signal that some divine idea is seeking expression through us. The desire is the beginning of its fulfillment. As Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote in his poem, The Informing Spirit, there is no great and no small to the soul that maketh all. And where it cometh, all things are, and it cometh everywhere. In John 14, Jesus proclaimed, whatever you ask in my name, that will I do. Not as a promise of future intervention, but as a reminder that what we seek, what we ask for, already exists in the eternal now. Asking in my name means from a consciousness aligned with divine truth, where the prayer recognizes that the good we seek is already prepared. in this moment, I remember the one life, the one love, the infinite peace, the grace, the joy, the wholeness that is ever present in the infinite energy and intelligence of life itself. And so I know that that energy and that intelligence and that divine life is present in each and every one of us within the sound of my voice. I know that that power and presence inspires, informs, guides, and directs each one of us to that which serves our highest good. That there is a realization of the gifts that we have to give, and that we are guided to give those gifts in the most loving, purposeful, powerful way. And so I'm grateful for this time together, for the words of Reverend Mitch guiding us today, for the music, for the service of everyone here, allowing this morning together to unfold in perfection. So I just give thanks. I give thanks for it all. I give thanks for the inspiration, for the expansion, for the realizations of truth, of oneness and of wholeness that are being made manifest by means of us today. And so with great gratitude for all the good that I know is unfolding in this moment, with love and with joy, I release this word into the law of life itself that says yes and makes it so. And we affirm this together as we say, and so it is. And now we'll have another song.
Let's see. You know those dreams that you're on stage and you have the moment that you've been waiting for, and there's one song, the one song that you have to play, and so you can't remember any songs. But this is the song when I was tested one time by a dream. Like, which one would you say? One song, you know, the rainbow song, the most popular rainbow song that, and I was trying to match it to Mitch's talk today. So, Reverend Mitch. So this is the one I picked. And I think you probably heard it before because it's really old. We are opening up in a sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. We are opening up in a sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. And we are rising up like a phoenix from the fire. Brothers and sisters, spread your wings and fly higher. We are rising up like a phoenix from the fire. Brothers and sisters, spread your wings and fly higher. We are rising up. We are rising up. We are rising up. We are rising up. We are blossoming up like a lotus flower. Let your love light shine in the darkest hour. We are blossoming up like a lotus flower. Let your love light shine in the darkest hour. We are blossoming. We are blossoming. We are blossoming. We are blossoming. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. We are opening up in Sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are rising up like a phoenix from the fire. Brothers and sisters, spread your wings and fly higher. We are rising up like a phoenix from the fire. Brothers and sisters, spread your wings and fly higher. Thank you.
Let's give it up one more time for Tal. Beautiful, beautiful voice. And happy Recovery Sunday, everyone. Turn to somebody and say, glad you're here today. It's tinny. It's tinny. You know, I think it should rain, storm, and power should go out more often. Look how full the room is. So glad everyone's here today. So glad that you made it. I just got back from the Centers for Spiritual Living convention in Reno. First convention I've ever went to, and I have an announcement. We'll have a slide pop up here. All of these New Thought organizations, Agape, affiliated New Thought networks, Centers for Spiritual Living, Divine Science, all of these, Unity, have come together to promote New Thought principles around the world in one powerful effort. Isn't that amazing? And so all the communities will be listed. There's going to be more activities to share. And if you want to visit the website or send somebody to the website, it's anawakenedpath.org. So anawakenedpath.org. So please get on there. Visit it once a day so it goes up in the algorithm. I think it's brilliant, and I'm really excited of what's happening in New Thought in the world. The other thing I wanted, did you get the second slide? Oh, look at all your ecclesiastical team went to the, except Rev Julia's not here. She's here in spirit. So, and we had, of course, wonderful Rev Madeline with us as well. So we had a great time, and we're all filled up so we can come back and fill all of you up. So had a good time. The other thing I want to mention, the 15 to Commitment starts, Conscious Leadership starts Monday, so it's not too late to join. If you do sign up on the sheet, we have some extra packets as well to start. So, and grab a flyer too, because your little readings on the back of that. I think we're going to end up rescheduling Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life, unless we get 3 more signed up today, because we need 4. We'll reschedule it for May. The other thing I wanted to mention is Advanced Alternatives to Violence Project. So if you took the first one and you're ready for the second dose, is coming up in May 16th and 23rd. So save the date, and we'll talk more about it next Sunday. And last and certainly not least, please save the date for our beloved Mary Lou Knapp's Festival of Life. Will happen on May 24th. That's a Sunday at 1 p.m. And as soon as flyers are available, we will have them on the counter as well. So that is all of my announcements. I want to mention that Recovery Sunday was not my idea. I actually stole it. You know, confession is good. We're in church, after all. From the Center for Spiritual Awareness, who I went to their Recovery Sunday about a year ago, and I thought, this is brilliant. Much of recovery, the system of recovery, has its roots in New Thought. Many people don't know this. And so we're going to talk a little bit about this today. And in fact, many people who find their way to our centers often started in recovery. And I asked Marilyn Gale, who has actually been a sponsor to over 100 people in recovery at one point or another, to come up and share her story. So can we give it up for Marilyn Gale?
morning. First of all, I want to say that everything I'm about to tell you is from my own personal experiences, lessons I've learned, and opinions that I have formed. I'm not quoting from any book or literature on this topic right now. So here we go. At some point, as an adult, I found myself in a place where my life was out of control. I was clinically depressed and using non-prescription drugs to cope and attempt to camouflage how truly out of touch I'd become. Somehow, in the mess I was living in, I discovered there is a 12-step program that addresses addiction. I attended a meeting, and although I was not a happy camper, I was welcomed and invited to keep coming back. That was the beginning of a journey of recovery that has continued for the last 28 and a half years. So I told you that I'm not quoting any published literature, but last weekend, I also attended a convention. It was a convention of Narcotics Anonymous. Now, traditionally, the convention closes with a spiritual meeting on Sunday morning. And as I was listening to the speaker, I found myself taking notes. And some of the things that the speaker shared, I'm going to be sharing with you today. He said that pain is an invitation to pray. And he also said, when you're left with nothing, God becomes everything. Now, NA and all the 12-step groups are considered non-religious. They don't dictate what God is. But there is a suggestion that a power greater than ourselves can help us if sought. In my experience, creating a spiritual relationship that went beyond my poor, sad self was crucial. I slowly released my self-destructive thinking and began to embrace that I am actually a person of value. I've been able to incorporate the bigger picture in how I view the world. And now I allow that I have a place in this world. The speaker told us separation from our personal higher power leads to spiritual death. And that is where I woke up from my bad dream of active addiction. I had felt completely alone, even in the middle of a crowded party. The acceptance, encouragement, and love of the fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous gave me hope and strength that I could be okay. And I came to believe that I needn't suffer alone anymore. He said, healed people help people. And we say, at the end of each meeting, keep coming back. That mantra was an invitation that helped me to choose to save my own life. I kept showing up and learned more, gathered more evidence that living clean is not only possible, but can lead to an absolutely new way of living. And nowadays, I continue to attend meetings and practice being available for the newcomers, just as people were available for me when I showed up. That is a key to how it works. Last Sunday's speaker also said, gratitude without expression is like wrapping a gift and not giving it. Today, I'm grateful for my entire life up to this point, and I expect to continue that trend as I walk into my own future. Obviously, I had to live through all I have to get to be the woman so freely speaking to you right now. Through a series of invitations that I accepted, I've continued to learn and to grow, to walk with a sense of dignity and pride in being a human on this planet today. Finally, the speaker told us that listening is an act of love. I thank Narcotics Anonymous for pointing to the God of my understanding, which ultimately brought me here to this center and to the whole concept of the New Thought thinking. And I thank God for the possibility of recovery for us all. And I'm thanking you for your listening.
Beautiful. Thank you, Marilyn, for sharing your story and being willing to be seen, and that the light that you still bring to so many that are in darkness. Thank you for all your work, there and here. Thank you. So the truth is, you don't have to be an addict to actually benefit from the recovery principles. And the truth is, we're all recovering from something, right? Maybe it's a broken heart. Maybe it's the loss of a loved one. Maybe it's a health setback or a poor decision you made. Maybe you're trying to overcome some toxic habits. Maybe it's self-judgment that you're trying to get past. Or perhaps it is an addiction. Whatever it is, I want you to know the journey of recovery can be used to up-level your awareness and create new paths to embodied wisdom you never imagined possible. See, the dark night side is one side of an archetype, right? These patterns that are lived out. And it's a two-sided coin. The addict and the mystic are two sides of one coin, and that if you can make it through the addict experience, you come out the other end. A new creation, changed, wiser, and more resilient. And there are many great people who have traveled this path of overcoming and into this other side of resilience and knowing a deeper truth, and have shared their light with us. You know them. Wayne Dyer's one of them. He quit drinking. That's when his career took off. Byron Katie. Dark night of the soul. She would sleep on the floor. She didn't feel like she was worthy of even small comforts. Buckminster Fuller. Marianne Williamson. Ram Dass. Russell Brand. Gabby Bernstein. I could probably stand here and list name after name after name. So dedicating this Sunday to recovery from whatever ails you, there's something here for everyone. And not only are we going to provide you some really good tools to help you with wherever your struggle is, I also want you to know there's a long history of recovery principles that are tied to new thought. When Bill Wilson, the founder of Alcoholics Anonymous and the recovery movement, had what could be called a mystical experience in the hospital, and he wanted to understand it, he turned to new thought people. William James, a minister and new thought pioneer. He turned to Emmett Fox, a great minister and mystic in our movement, learning ideas, concepts, and principles that ultimately made their way into Alcoholics Anonymous and so many other movements. Narcotics Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous, Sex and Love Addicts, Debtors Anonymous, Shopping Anonymous, Food Addicts Anonymous, right? There's a lot of ways we numb out life And when we do it to the point of destruction and disconnect, it becomes addiction. You know, I wish the whole world could go to recovery, right? Because you gain a greater awareness of yourself. And you get to heal patterns of dysfunction and make amends for all that you've harmed, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally. Can you imagine what the world would look like if everybody did that? We'd actually create that world that works for all. And while we can't send the whole world to recovery, we can start by looking at 3 core concepts of recovery that apply to all human lives, and that if we apply them, a new level of awareness, healing, and up-leveling our vibrational state will happen. Because here's the thing. You don't attract what you put on your vision board. You don't attract what you want. You don't attract what you affirm. You attract what you are. The real work is to get deep down inside, to remove any resistance to your good. And if you truly work these 3 principles I'm going to talk about for 6 months, and here's the thing, 6 months is going to come and go whether you do them or not. But if you do it for 6 months, your life will become unrecognizable in the most wonderful and amazing way. So you want to know what those 3 principles are? Yes. Oh, good. Good answer. All right. That's the right answer. If you said no, I'd be out of luck, right? The first one is rigorous honesty. Be painfully, deeply truthful with yourself. Look, you can lie to anybody. You can make up any story. You can give the world whatever you want. But you will always know the truth. A part of you will always know. So be incredibly, deeply truthful with yourself and to as many people as you can without doing harm, right? I mean, if someone had a bad haircut and they said, how you like the haircut? You just say, that's interesting, right? You know, it's a terrible haircut, right? We don't want to hurt people. Number 2 is make a fearless, comprehensive moral inventory to uncover the harm you have intentionally or unintentionally done to yourself or another person. And then the third is make amends to the degree possible without causing injury to another. So we're going to break these down. Let's start with the rigorous honesty. See, rigorous honesty is truth as liberation. You know, many times we say we want to be free, but there's a price, and the admission starts with being honest. And I'm not talking about ordinary honesty. I'm talking about the kind of honesty that does not give the ego a comfortable exit. I'm talking about the kind of truth where you look at yourself and your patterns and your impact on others without flinching or looking away or making excuses. See, in recovery, this is understood to be a non-negotiable, not because confession is punishment, but because self-deception is the very medium in which addiction and unconscious forms of living survives and grows. See, it starts to run your life in ways that seem puzzling, right? You ever ask yourself, why does, and you could fill in the blank, always happen to me? For instance, why do I always have a crisis at the worst time? Might be a pattern going on. Why do I attract unreliable people in my life? Might be a pattern going on. Why do I sabotage my good? That good thing that always shows up in life. There's something in the unconscious that needs to come to the surface. Carl Jung put it this way: until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and we will call it fate. That's what's at stake here, your freedom. And see, here's the thing. We all have stories. We all tell stories, right? Sometimes we tell stories about people's roles in our suffering. Well, that person, right? My parents, my significant other. Or we tell stories about what's possible for us or what's not possible. I'm too old. I'm not smart enough, right? We go into all these stories. But rigorous honesty asks us which of these stories are actually true. And we repeat these stories sometimes for so long, they feel true. You know, my story for many years was I come from a family of addicts. No wonder I struggle with addiction. Both my parents struggled with alcohol. That was my story. Of course I have addiction. But the truth is, I'm always at choice. That's the truth. See, I could either have my story of excuses or I could have my power, but you can't have both. So when the story comes up, I want a little alarm to come up and ask, is this the truth? Because the truth is you are always at choice. And now you're going to have to pick your story or your power, right? That's what's at stake. So here's the practice. Each day, you're going to ask this one sentence, not to shame or blame, but so you can see clearly. What am I pretending not to know right now? What am I pretending not to know right now? Right? Maybe you're dating someone and it seems kind of off and you kind of know they're not right for you, but you're just like not looking at that. Call that denial. Maybe you keep putting off healthier living, thinking later is better. I'll quit tomorrow. What are you not looking at? All the damage that's happening because you're not doing it now? Or me, I know, I got to look at this one. You're staying on social media at night. It's impacting your sleep. And sleep's the gateway to health, well-being, calm nervous system. It's these little lies, these little looking aways that add up to things we don't want to experience. So that's the first one. Number 2 is the fearless moral inventory, right? Awakening through self-examination. This is step 4 of the 12 steps. And it asks each person in recovery to search, make a fearless search and moral inventory of themselves and those you have harmed. Everyone take a breath. Anyone who's breathing on the planet has harmed someone at some point in their life. Not because they wanted to always, sometimes intentionally, but we have blind spots. As being human beings, we just have, the brain only generalizes, deletes, and distorts, and it works on shortcuts, which means we're going to miss something, which means we have hurt somebody at some point in our lives. And so we sit down with pen and paper, we make a list of every resentment, every fear, every harm, and identifying our role, not to assign blame, not shame, but to see the patterns, to understand what keeps creating it. Bill Wilson called this the key to the whole program. Not because suffering is your fault. I really want you to get that. But because you are the only part of the equation you can actually change. You are the only part of that pattern that you can actually change. And we teach in New Thought that all lasting change is from the inside out. And if you really want to move the needle in your life in incredible and unimaginable ways, this will do it, right? Because we all carry a basement filled with unexamined material. Even the most conscious, functioning, high-performing people, they still got a basement. So I'm going to invite you, make a list. It doesn't even have to be that long. Start with 3. Persistent resentments, the situations or people you return to again in your mind. And for each, instead of asking what they did wrong, ask, what does my reaction to this reveal about the belief I'm holding? Because if it keeps patterning, something in you is playing match game. Wouldn't that be a better thing to fix than trying to fix every single person in your life? Anybody ever try to fix every single person in your life? I know I did. I tried. It was not good. You know, I experienced this when I had left a job where my staff didn't support me, and they were always talking about me, and they were mean. I said, those people. I went and got another job, new supervisor, and guess what? My staff did the same thing. And I went, what's the common denominator here? I had to look at some things. I had to look at me. And it wasn't self-blame that we're going for. We're going for self-knowledge. Because self-knowledge and new thought is the beginning of self-mastery. And the path to that inner mystic, that higher knowing, that wisdom, that clarity. Who's ever said, I just want more clarity? Yeah. Inquire within, because that's where it is. The third one is to make amends. This is energetic repair. It's step 8 and 9 of recovery. And the person in recovery makes a list of everyone they've harmed, and now wherever possible, to make direct amends. Not apologies, amends. And the distinction is, it's not just an I'm sorry, end of sentence. It's a I'm sorry and I'm going to do things differently from here on out. Changed behavior, which I believe is the ultimate apology, yes? And in recovery, this practice is understood to be essential. Not essential so much for the person receiving the amends, although it can be, but it's for the person giving it. See, carrying unaddressed harm is one of the heaviest things we can carry. And putting it down changes everything. You know, when I was at the conference, I ran into a minister and longtime mentor who I love dearly. And I'm still in this process of awakening, and I found out something new about myself, something I do that causes harm, that is a subconscious reaction to when people trigger me. And I realized when I went through who I'd done it to, I had done it to my mentor, someone I loved. And I caught her at the conference. I said, hey, can we sit for a moment? And so we sat off to the corner, and I started with, I need to make an amends to you. I found out something about myself. And I told her the situation. And I said that I'm sorry I did that to you. You didn't deserve that. And I take 100% responsibility. I didn't go into why. I didn't break it down, how the subconscious does this in my head automatically, right? Because that's getting out of responsibility. And responsibility is two things. Responsibility. And when we were done, and I started to walk away, I felt a kind of lightness I had not felt in years. Literally, like 20 pounds just fell off my back. And I had a sense of peace that I did that I found the strength and courage to make amends. So, making this amends, what it really does is it changes our frequency, right? It gets stuff out of the way so that we can vibrate at the level of love, so we can be more creative, so we can be more abundant, so we can be more peaceful. That rock on our soul, gone. It clears the interference of your own field of consciousness, so that the infinite, the divine, spirit, life, the presence, by whatever name you use, your higher power, can move through you unobstructed and get into the flow of life. You know the flow of life. Who's ever hit every green light going down the road, right? You're in the flow. Everything just seems like you have a 4-leaf clover in your hand. Seems to work because you're cleared stuff out. So I want you to think of one relationship. Maybe it's a relationship with yourself. Maybe it's something where something has been left unaddressed. something was left, something that was done that was never repaired. And I want you to think about that one person, situation, maybe with yourself. Maybe you put yourself on the back burner. Maybe you didn't listen to your internal wisdom. We're visiting this not to reopen the wound, but to close it. And you don't have to do this today, but ask yourself, what would my life feel like if I put that weight down? If I could release that, right? What would become possible in the space it currently occupies? Because it takes up space in our energetic field. And then go one level deeper and ask yourself, where have I broken faith with my own knowing? Every time we betray our own knowing, we weaken our field, our spirit, our mind, and our body. And what would it look like to make it right? Yeah, it's going to be hard. But on the other side of hard is everything you want in this life. The lightness, the flow, the wholeness, the well-being. You know, the practices Bill Wilson built in recovery, honesty, inventory, amends, they're not just tools to get sober or stay sober. They were, as the New Thought tradition had been teaching for a century before him, the fundamental practices of conscious awakening. That's why we come here, right? Rigorous honesty turns into light. Fearless moral inventory clears the basement. And making amends restores the current, the flow of good. I am a friend of Bill. In the early hours of January 1st, 2011, I walked out of the Thunder Valley Casino knowing it would be the last time I had ever gambled. I walked to my SUV knowing there was one thing I could do that would seal the deal of never doing it again. I got into the car. I shut the door. I looked up into the sky, and I made a sacred promise to the one person I knew I would never break it, my mom. When she was alive, we spent 40 years keeping our promises to each other. And I said, Mom, I promise I will never gamble again. The next day I got into recovery. And a year later, 1 year later, clean, I got my coin. And my sponsor handed me a card. The card, when I opened it, looked familiar. It was penguins that said, where others waddle, you soar. That was the last same card my mother gave me when I got promoted. There's mysteries and dimensions to life we don't know about. And we're here in this community to discover them. And part of sharing the light and the faith and the hope is our stories. So let's tell them. Let's be brave. And let's work these powerful principles, because who knows what our lives could look like 6 months from now. Blessed be. Thank you. And it's been 15 years, so I'm taking it. 15 very, very clean years. If you will please stand, I will read our affirmation once, and then we will read it together. I honor every chapter of my journey as sacred and purposeful. I now release all stories of shame and lack, knowing they were never the truth of who I am. Together. I honor every chapter of my journey as sacred and purposeful. I now release all stories of shame and lack, knowing they were never the truth of who I am. And so it is. Please have a seat, if you will. Take your gift in your hand. And if you want to text your gift, you can text 44321 and type in Sierra CSL. There's also a QR code on the envelopes in the seat back that you can also give. And we appreciate your givingness. I also want to mention that we printed out some worksheets for you, which I had up here. Oh, here we go. If you want to take some of these practices home, they're on the round table. Chana and Pat will circulate the basket, but please feel free to take one of these with you and continue this powerful work. And so we will go ahead and have the basket. Oh, we got to do the intentional giving statement, right? So put your gift on your heart. I give this gift with love and joy from a consciousness of abundance. Divine love blesses and prospers all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Thank you. I just want to say we'll get started with the training in about 5 minutes after. And I hope that you can stay. I actually found myself in a situation with a friend who had overdosed, and I didn't have Narcan on me. I had to do CPR in a parking lot. Thankfully, he made it, but it's a lot more prevalent than we can even imagine. So please join us in being the solution for this epidemic. So let's just take a breath in as I release and just turn my attention to the love and the healing and the revealing that these gifts have been given to us. As we are good stewards of these gifts and we continue to use them to heal the world and create a world that works for all. And I know that these gifts bless us and the giver. And this unlimited supply of good moving in and through and as us. I release this word and together we say, and so it is. I want to thank our ushers, Pat and Chana. Candlelighter, Bonnie. Announcements, Diane. Streaming tech, Diane, Diana, and Chana. Takes a village. Sound, Sharon. Who plays signs? Chana. Our practitioner of the day, Rev Lanny. And here's what I want to say. One of the best prayers ever. You have something heavy on your heart, go right up to Lanny. She's going to hold you like you've never been held. So please don't leave without prayer. Children's Church, I still want to give it up for Jessica. She was really ready with something wonderful there. Platform host, Reb K. Thank you so much. Musician, Tall. Narcan training, Jen or Ree with Nevada County Public Health. Can we give it up for her? And please visit the recovery table over here. Nisi came with a lot of great information, whether it's for a family, friend, cousin, whatever, or just you want to know more. Go visit Nisi afterwards. Appreciate that. So what are you taking away from our experience together today? Love, truth, honesty, responsibility. Perfect place to be. Amends. Vulnerability, forgiveness. Blessed be, yes. No children today, so we will go ahead and stand and do our benediction, if you will. And repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening as me right now. It's this thing called radical honesty. It's this thing called fearless moral inventory. It's this thing called making amends. I know it. I feel it. I sense it. Because I am it. And so it is. All right, take us away. Are we doing video or music? Both. All right, in our closing song. Oh, I'm not doing hand holding.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Now peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment, live each moment, peace eternally. Now there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
Woo!
Please join us for coffee and tea in the back, and we'll get set up in about 5 minutes for the training. Have a great week, everyone.